Buff Nation!
Let's go!
You!
Oh, that is music to my ears.
Wow.
Music in my mouth. That's probably a pause right there.
It's pretty close.
Took us 5 seconds this time. New record.
We have a special guest here, and no, it's not Uncle Neely. It's Uncle Neely's 100,000 YouTube subscriber plaque.
Look at that.
Give everyone appreciate it. Clap it up.
Appreciate all the love out there in
Jake?
TV land. Jake's not clapping.
Thanks.
It's the same thing with the Cowboys game. There's no love for Jake,
Unbelievable, dude. Just never supports you.
man. They never. Got his back, though. I got his back.
Holy
There's
cow.
something.
Jake and Neely were getting along too well before the show, so right before we went live, I just drove a wedge between them.
And you threw a monkey wrench in there, and my feelings a little hurt. But I got to tell you this. 2024, 17 days in or so, 18 days, whatever it is, I have yet to say Jakey Poo this year until just then.
Wow.
Jakey Poo, I miss you. That's the first Jakey Poo of 2024.
First of 2024.
He said it at least once. I didn't make it long. Jake's my guy, man.
We're checking off all the boxes
All the
early
boxes
on in this
early,
show.
man. We got a pause in. We got a Jakey Poo.
What are we missing?
Louise was already wrong. She said RK and Uncle not bully Jake today.
The show wasn't even live.
It actually wasn't bullying at all. All I said was Unc went out of his way to support Jake's Michigan Wolverines.
I really did.
And so Sunday night rolls around, and I was just staring at our group chat, just waiting. Jake's got to show some support for Unc's Cowboys at some point, right?
Yeah.
It never came around. It never happened. And I would say at least one of the reasons why the Cowboys lost.
I'm going to say it's the chief reason why we lost. Love is an energy. I gave Jake a lot of love during the Michigan games.
Yep.
Not just the national championship games.
That's true.
I was there for him. And
That's
my
true.
Cowboys were down bad, and I didn't even get one like, hey, hang in there
Yeah,
from Jake.
sorry.
And here's the thing. I didn't think about it until you pointed it out.
To be fair, the game was
sitting on that one.
21-0 before we even blinked. So
And that's why you should be there for your friends.
Gotta put
Not
on-
when it's 21-19.
I don't support the Cowboys, bro.
No, it's about me, Jake. You let me down.
Oh, it's only about you.
You did get me a cold Olipop before
I
the show
did.
started, so that kind of made up for it.
chipping away.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Sorry about your Cowboys, Unc.
There's always next year. We still them boys.
I've heard that one. Play that on a recording. Just save it.
Yeah, oh yeah, like it's the story of my life.
Well, welcome back. How's it been being back on campus, back in the Champions Center?
It's been good because it's warm in the Champions Center. We got back just in time for Snowmageddon or whatever you want to call it. But man, the guys look great. Lots of good energy in the building. Man, I am so fired damn up about the offensive line and defensive line room, man. The way those guys look, the way they carry themselves, the energy that they show amongst each other just being in the building. We got a damn good team coming here, man. We got a damn good team.
I think it was on Darius's video the other day. He had a clip of Corey Phillips, and he just said, man, the energy is completely different this year. Do you feel that, and what makes it different?
You feel it and see it. It's not, like a show or guys trying to be the alpha male. I'm going to start with the offensive line. When you get a head coach asking a group of people a question, most of the times people just sit there because they think the question is rhetorical. So Coach Promise say something like, to 80 people, hey, who's going to be the dog in this room? And 8 offensive linemen raise their hands. When
that.
last year none of them would have said anything. And that's not a, diss to last year. Keep in mind, a lot of people didn't raise their hands. But this offensive line, man, are some dogs. They got playing experience. They look like an offensive line room. The guys who were here last year that stayed, as well as these new guys, it is going to be a much improved situation in protecting QB1 this year.
Can't wait, man.
I love it.
Have you met
It's
any
really
of them?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Who've you met?
Everyone is here.
Okay.
Everyone that said Seaton is not going to be here, talk to him every day. He's here. Tyler Brown, man, we had their testing yesterday. As we go into strength and conditioning, you got to see where you are. Man, Tyler Brown knocked out about 28, 225. He went in thinking he was going to do 30-32. His speed test today was phenomenal. And the offensive line is just feeding off each other. It's going to be interesting to see who emerges, as that alpha dog in the room, leadership-wise. It's going to be a good thing to see. Same thing with the defensive line. it is by default, I think right now is Shane Koch's room because he's the, leader in there. But these other guys are stepping up as well.
I love it. I love what you said about kind of the response to Coach Prime. I was looking for a tweet. I think the person who tweeted it deleted it, so I won't say who it was. I didn't think there was anything wrong with it. But for whatever reason, I think they deleted it. Someone on Twitter said the other day, like, I was listening to another podcast and they played a clip of Coach Prime talking to his team. And I could tell from the response of the players that it was a clip from Jackson State because of how loud and kind of effusive the response was. And they said, especially towards the end of last year, if you go back and listen to some of Coach Prime's speeches to the team, it didn't feel like the buy-in was as much there as that you could hear in some of those Coach Prime videos from Jackson State. And I think it was definitely there early in the season, but as they started to take some hits, there might have been some more quote-unquote non-believers. So to hear you say that, I mean, less than 24 hours since I saw that tweet about how kind of the response is more loud and confident right now, I think is really important.
Man, got an interview that's going to be dropping on the pregame show probably Friday and Monday, tomorrow and Monday with Coach Prime. We were chilling in the building, and I'm getting to what you just talked about. Yeah. He said, hey, man, come with me. All right, where we going? We go downstairs, and I interview him while he's working out. It's just me and him, nobody in the gym. And one of the first things I asked him was, what's the difference right now than a year ago? And he talked about that in the team meeting, that the energy amongst the players, the vibe in the room, the spirit in the room, the way the guys are sitting there making eye contact, the new guys plus the veterans, you can just see that this is a totally different atmosphere than not only November, coming off those losses, but even the week after TCU. It is at that kind of level right now.
Yep. And I think that goes to a larger point about the staff that Coach Prime is assembling. Mm-hmm. And I think buy-in might be like a really big key word this year. Because last year you obviously changed so much about the way the football program operated and the way the fans viewed things and expectation and all of this stuff. But I think one of the underlying issues was buy-in, whether that's a player not buying into like a team mentality or a coach not buying into, everything that they were trying to do with the program. And when you have even Coach Prime is this gigantic magnet, right? And it's pulling all his force this way. But if you have even just a little bit of force pulling back the other way, you can't get everything going the right way. And so, I've seen some people say, well, Coach Prime's only hiring staff members that he's comfortable with. And it's like, yeah, wouldn't you?
But I would say that whereas that's not necessarily totally true, I think there are some discomforts. At some point you hire people that you really didn't know that well. You're going off a recommendation, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But you summed it up like special right there, man. Like, why wouldn't somebody hire somebody they're comfortable with? And if you're comfortable with winning and changing the lives of these young men and changing the trajectory of this program to go further than went last year, if that's what they got in common, that's who he's hiring. Totally. And you could just, when you talk to, Coach Field, the new offensive line coach, it is just night and day difference in the personality and the approach, in the way things are going to be done. And you're going to see that translate to production on the field. You got a lot of depth in that room now. One thing I will say to the people out there, who know how the college football calendar works, this team is still not the team for the fall.
Yeah,
we got to go through the spring and the spring game, and that spring-summer portal opens up. Other guys are coming in, guys will be going out. But when you look at just where we are right now with the guys who will be here in August, this is night and day difference, man. This is a major team. We got a good ball club.
And I think that's exactly kind of the point is you sometimes do want to surround yourself with people you trust who will challenge you. Mm-hmm. But I think those people already exist. Like, I don't think Coach Hart is afraid to tell Coach Prime, hey, have you thought about it this way?
Yeah, not only not afraid, he's encouraged to.
Yeah, exactly. At the same time, though, if one of you guys decided to leave this show, I'm bringing in someone that I think I'm going to have really good chemistry with, right?
That's exactly
because chemistry is what makes this thing go.
Yeah.
So
And if I get an offer to go to Paris for the Louis V runway, I am leaving the show, just for the record.
You're welcome to.
Thank you.
You'll be an excused absence. I think it makes perfect sense what Coach Prime is doing. He's trying to get all sails pointed in one direction.
Amen.
And isn't that what everyone's trying to do, whether it's in a business or a team or anything?
Certainly. And when you look around the country, a lot of folks are, maybe concerned that you don't have a DC named, or, what is the deal with Coach Sal or not the deal with Coach Sal coming back. When you look at these gold standard programs, even Jake's Michigan is in limbo right now because you don't know what the head coach is going to do, and then thereby, the staff. You look at Auburn and Alabama. Staffs have transition period, but this is that time in the window where you're not doing X's and O's and installs. You're not out there directly coaching. So there's no behind schedule right now when you're trying to make sure you get it right. You take time to get it right. And Coach Prime has a list and a thought process to it, and we're going to have a damn good DC when this all shakes loose to augment the rest of that staff.
What can you tell us about the defensive coordinator?
I can tell you, man, that Coach Prime, smiles when the subject comes up because he understands, the person or persons that he's been talking to, and he understands that the professionalism they bring to the table, not only themselves, but their experience in the NFL. And that's one thing that we have to appreciate as fans is that, I know my Cowboys are out and the Broncos are out, but the NFL is still going on. And there are coaches involved in the NFL who are still working in the NFL and who have even other offers to decide or mull over. So I think we're going to have an excellent DC. I think you can expect it to happen sooner than later. But Coach Prime, man, is a lot of people look at him and they see prime time. They remember that guy and they think he's just, flying around emotional. The guy is so methodical in his approach to business, and nothing catches him off guard. He knows when someone was leaving before we know they were leaving.
Yep.
And he has the replacements in mind before they are announced. So it's looking damn good, man. It's going to be a jaw-dropping DC.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
You already mentioned him, but what can you tell us about Jordan Seaton, just interacting with him and him getting on campus?
Man, the guy is a personality machine.
Yeah?
First of all, physically, he's everything and then some. Like, he's a big dude. But you talk about just a gregarious attitude, man, and walking around, shaking hands, kissing babies, working the room, but not from a butt-kissing standpoint, just being himself. He is really one of those people that when you see him in the building, you wouldn't think that this was his first week in the building. He walks around like he's been there a semester or two. He doesn't pass by a person and not introduce himself or try to learn their name. And that's not just in his offensive room, but just staff people, custodian staff. He talks to the cafeteria staff. He's a good dude, man. I'm looking forward to, doing some things with him. Literally right before heading over here, we were talking about scheduling his interview, not just with me, but with us. So you're gonna get a lot of Jordan Seaton because he has a personality for it.
Let's go.
I love it.
Can't wait.
I can't wait to tell him what he put me through.
Can't wait to tell him you didn't believe.
I can't wait to tell him with you standing there what he put you through.
I'm going to tell Jordan that RK was the biggest doubter of all of us.
Oh, my God. That's fine. That's fine. I wasn't doubting Jordan. I was doubting.
You were doubting Jordan.
Well, no, I was doubting the chances of him coming to Colorado.
Yeah.
I think
that makes me not a Jordan doubter.
No, of course.
It makes me a person who has been hurt too many times.
In this process, as time goes on, you can't help but have some doubt increase.
Yes.
And you had a window of time there where it looked like, and then you had all the naysayers in the chat. So I told you wasn't coming.
Yep.
And then you look up and you see him, you're like, now I believe it.
Yeah. Yep.
But he is here and he's doing well.
Who has stuck out to you other than Jordan as people who just look elated to be here? I remember you kind of talking about this last year around this time of just like some of these guys are just popping out as like, man, they feel like they're living their best life.
So two. I'm going to go old as in veteran and then current player coming in. Man, Bentley is in phenomenal shape. Like his speed today at the 40 test, and I think Bentley hit 35 on the 225.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's like offensive lineman numbers.
Yes.
That's like topping the combine
I
numbers.
told him, I said, man, you realize you beat Rock? Like, Rock was 27, maybe 28.
My God.
Like, and I mean, phenomenal. And I don't want to butcher his name, so I'm going to let Jake butcher his name. We were in the chat group.
I know where you're going with this one.
How you can say it wrong, but you say it confident?
What name?
Come on, man.
Chidozie Nwankwo.
Yes.
Okay.
You say it.
Chidozie Nwankwo.
Yeah, bam. I'm going with him. He is, man, phenomenal athlete. Smile on his face, working hard, bouncing around, could move some heavy weights as well. He was in the 30s on his 225. Personality, man. Like, this team is full of leaders now. 1 year ago, you were trying to find, like, sifting for gold. Like, who's going to be a leader in this unit, this group, this unit, this team. You can close your eyes and draw straws now, man. Like, you got that level of talent and personality. Guys who believe in themselves. My man from Indiana is going to do phenomenal.
Benson.
I mean, he's in the building doing this thing. Mississippi guy. So we throw up to him when we see each other. He's doing phenomenal. This team is when you walk through the building, Jake, you smile because it's like, this looks like a football team now.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Because like this time last year, all we heard about was they're going to be small, and we were pretty undersized in the trenches for sure. But just compared to that point now to the last year, like the size of the team, like how big are they?
Last year, I'll start with the O-line again. Last year, I could walk in the O-line room, and other than Tank, looking up to Tank, the other two guys I'm looking in the eye, or everybody else I'm looking down on. This year, I mean, Tyler Brown and I are right there together. Everybody else I'm looking up at. Benson I'm looking up at.
Yeah.
Seaton I'm looking up at. Like, these are some big dudes, man. And we got some big receivers as well. They have some bodies on them. Got some speed as well when they were doing their drills. And that's only augmenting what you got coming back with Travis, Shedeur and Jimmy Horn, et cetera, et cetera. So we improved. We absolutely improved.
I think this would be an interesting thing to follow. I was talking to a player recently, and they were talking about kind of the influx of talent into the team. But they said, if we can come together, we're going to be dangerous. And this is something we talked about last year, about, hey, how do they come together quickly? And I think we were under the impression that the team did come together really well. But everyone has a plan until you get punched in the mouth, right?
We got punched.
They did get punched in the mouth, and if I had to point back to a certain time, I think it would probably be the Stanford game. They obviously got punched in the mouth in the Oregon game, but the Stanford game, it felt like that's when it was really tested. How together are you? How together did you become? But I'm just interested to follow it this year to see, can this team get tighter in just as much amount of time and not be at risk of splintering? No. I'm going somewhere else. I got something else. I'm happy. But not be at risk of splintering when potentially something bad happens.
The reason I'm smiling, it was not one of those pause moments, RK. It was like, dude, you were in the staff meeting with Coach Prime for the first staff meeting. You were in the first team meeting with Coach Prime and all the players, not just the new ones, because his focus, what he is putting everything on, strength and conditioning staff is going to do their thing. That's going to take care of itself. We're good. What Coach Prime has been absolutely said to focus on right now is building relationships. Yep. And that starts with communication. Don't walk by a person that's building, don't speak. Don't miss an opportunity to get to know a teammate. And not just for the players, for the coaches. Coaches, we're not coaching right now. We're not doing football stuff. But you can do the eyeball test, and you can get to know players and let them get to know you. I don't want people to be here just because of me. They have to have relationships with you, and that starts not only with those units but player to player. And so that's what solves what you're talking about. Yep. Because last year, this time when you got here, you knew that most of that room would not be around or be an impact when those moments like Stanford happened.
Yeah.
Well, this time, most of this room is going to be here
right
when we get to a Stanford kind of moment. And so Coach understands, like, man, what we missed last year is the opportunity to get to know each other, to forge relationships and bonds that when we go to war to one another, we're doing it at a different level because we have a relationship. And so he's been harping on that word the past 7 days, man. And you can see these guys are embracing getting to know each other. Even today during strength and conditioning, you know, you would think that they've known each other 6 months, the way they were pushing each other and congratulating each other and challenging each other. I saw Shane Coates go over to the offensive side of him and help a guy off the ground who was winded. Wow. You know, it's like, no, man, get up before coach says get up. Like, you know, that's the kind of thing that didn't happen this time a year ago because people were so like in their shell. Like, I don't want to move the wrong way and call attention to myself. I don't know if I should do that or could do this. But now you got a team of leaders, man. So you nailed it.
Thank you.
Yeah, you nailed it.
All right, plenty of more stuff to get to, but first, shout out to our friends over at Circus Sportsbook and Casino in Vegas. It's Vegas' first ever adults-only casino. Saves a ton of time checking IDs. Do you like it?
I love that color, man.
I told you.
Matches
Jake's
your
colors.
Thank you. So got the world's largest sportsbook, a 7,000 square foot casino as well, over 500 luxury rooms. Circus is just the best. We're massive fans here at DNVR. We can't wait to head back. And if you want to head out there for an Avs Knights game, maybe the Pac-12 tournament or Mountain West alum, book your stay with code DNVR20. You can get 20% off. Also, check out Circus Sportsbook. It's available in Colorado. Download the app at circusports.com. Circus Sports bets can only be made while physically located in the state of Colorado. Must be 21 or older. All rights reserved. Circus Sports Colorado encourages you to gamble responsibly. If you have a gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER or visit problemgamblingcolorado.org.
This is probably as good a time as any to announce that Jake and I will be at Circa in 3 weeks.
Cannot wait.
We are going to be broadcasting from Radio Row at the Super Bowl this year, which will be really cool. Cannot wait to see what guests we might get. And the reason why we're taking a Buffs show to the Super Bowl is because everyone is adjacent to Coach Prime.
Yep.
Everyone has a take or a story that they want to tell with Coach Prime. So I can't wait to be out there and just see who can we get on the show to talk about the Buffs and what guests might be waiting for us.
And I just want to say to all the potential haters out there after your comment, I was invited to go.
He was.
But schedule does not allow me to attend, and no, it's not because of a Louis V fashion show. There are other matters that Super Bowl weekend.
It's the Gucci
but when you
fashion show.
You said you and Jake were going, I know someone was getting ready to type, oh, you're not taking Neely. No. Don't try to break up the tripod.
I would have loved to have you there on.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to be there. I don't know if I'd actually make it to Radio Row, though. After a night with this guy.
I'm the one you really want to watch out for.
No, I didn't want to out you. Like, no, it's since you did it. It's absolutely you.
We've already had a talk in our household about my late nights in Vegas in terms of we're gonna have early mornings with these shows, so I can't be gambling until 4 a.m.
Yeah,
we'll see. Yeah. Shout out to Fubo TV. Got a little Buffs basketball tonight. If you want to follow Buffs basketball, you got to have Fubo TV because they have Pac-12 Network. And while we won't need that for long, you are going to want to watch your Avs and Nuggets if you're like me. And you can only get those at Fubo. So go check out our friends at Fubo. Tons of channels. Great user interface. I love Fubo. Been using it since before we even had a deal with them here at DNVR. So check them out. Go to FuboTV.com/DNVR to unlock great discounts.
So we got some new coaches.
Yeah.
What can you tell me about Jason Phillips, the new wide receivers coach?
You know, man, I can tell you that we have a phenomenal human being, a phenomenal coach at wide receiver coach in Jason Phillips. For those of you out there who got a little gray hair like me and have reached uncle and auntie status, you may remember a guy named Andre Ware at Houston, Heisman Trophy.
Yep, I'm aware.
He was throwing to somebody. Somebody was catching those passes. And the leading receiver in the nation that year was Jason Phillips, your new wide receiver coach. He went on to play with the Atlanta Falcons, where him and Coach Prime met each other. Jason Phillips was a wide receiver coach at Jackson State, and those receivers put up phenomenal numbers. And I think Jay Fields, we call him, Coach Jay Fields' relationship with Shedeur and able to translate that to that receiving room, I think that room just got better. But I also think that the tight end room got better. Because now that Brett Bartolone is moving over there, as a slot receiver in his playing days, he knows how to get open from the inside of the field and what to do there. So I think that staff change, bringing in Jay Field, moving over Brett, I think you're going to see an improved offense. You're going to see a more physical wide receiver bunch because you wouldn't know it when you see Jay Field because he's a Jimmy Horn kind of receiver or Steve Smith kind of receiver, like small dog but big dog mentality.
Yep.
He believes in wide receivers being physical, and that doesn't mean just in your blocks, but that means like taking the contact to the DB, like getting open. He's an excellent teacher. So I think people are going to be impressed as you get to know Jay Field. They've already talked to him about coming on the show. He's down for it.
Let's go.
So we're going to get to know him. You'll get to know him more through the summer.
I love it. How do you, just real quick on that, because I think people had questions about it. How do you think Coach Bartolone felt about the move going to tight ends?
He's a football guy. He's a win-first guy. And he knows, what he knows. And he knows how to coach. And he is not, around the building pouting. He's in the film room. He's got his book out, designing schemes and that kind of thing, working there and communicating with Pat Shurmur. I haven't seen him down in the dumps about anything. He is just as much a part of this staff as tight ends coach as he was receiver coach. Yep. Because one thing about Coach Prime, Pat Shurmur as OC, if you're in the room around that table, you're inputting, and so Brett Bartolone is still around the table. He's just moved over one chair to tight ends, not receivers. But he has just as much his fingerprints on the offensive design as he did as wide receiver coach.
Love it. I guess. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, and then Coach Loadholt.
Yeah, man. He now when I talked about the offensive line and now I'm looking up to guys. Yeah. I'm really looking up to him.
Yeah, he's massive, isn't he?
That dude is long, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he's a big boy, and he kind of moves with this deliberate silence, like always discerning things and evaluating things. But he's got a sense of humor. He's already, from the team address, been able to talk to just his unit. And, they get to observe him in the building, because it's just not coaching time yet. But he's just one of those people, man, that you're going to see improved play from offensive line because he knows how to communicate with this group, knows how to get them where they need to be and when and how. So, but I tell you, man, he looks like he could be playing. Like
he kind of retired young. It was just injuries that took him out.
He looks like if you walked in the building, if he was sitting with the offensive players, you would just think he was a college offensive player. Like he looks like he can still do it.
Do you know how Coach Prime and him got linked?
I don't, because as fate would have it, I was sitting down with Coach Field yesterday, and my battery started dying as we were doing our interview. So we're gonna start it over, do it via Zoom. But I asked him that question: how did this all happen? He got 3 words into it and went click.
Oh wow!
I needed Alyssa to do the fan thing.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no. And then he was, he had to go to the airport because everybody's hitting the road to do their recruiting thing. We're going into that phase of the season, getting out, visiting, that kind of thing. But man, he has the right word in his name in load because he is a load, man. He's a big boy.
Okay, I think last kind of staff question just goes to Coach Sal.
Yeah.
You've heard Coach Prime mention D-line coach as a potential position to fill. Mm-hmm. We know that Coach Sal has been not around for a minute here. Just what do you know about his situation?
Yeah, let me take some different stabs at it. We've had coaches who have transitioned out, since November. And when they were getting ready to leave, their names were immediately off of their doors.
Right. Even
before the outside world knew that this person was leaving. Coach Sal's name is still on his door. He had some health issues where, of course, are his private matter. And so I don't know from Coach Sal or Coach Prime directly if he's coming back or not, or what the deal is. But I think it's one of those things when you look at the longevity of Coach Sal's career, you look at how far away he is from home. I wouldn't be surprised, if that position were to change. But as of right now, Coach Sal is the D-line coach, and what an asset he is, man.
Yep.
You got to be a crazy SOB not to love Coach Sal. Like something's wrong with you if you don't like Coach Sal.
One more coaching staff question. Mm-hmm. Just the latest on Coach Sapp.
I text Sapp during the Bucks-Eagles game, and he replied with a picture of him and Ric Flair. And that was our last communication. He had to finish up his college degree to truly be able to get here. And Coach Prime has always said when that happened, he would love to have Coach Sapp on the staff, be a part of Colorado football. As of yet, I don't know a date, time, or position or role, whether it's analyst or coach, but both of them still speak highly about the opportunity, both of them being Coach Prime and Warren Sapp. But the last I talked to Sapp, man, was during the Eagles-Bucks game, and he was with Ric Flair. So if I had to choose, I don't know if I would probably choose Ric Flair over the Louis V fashion show, but otherwise I would go to Paris too.
Oh, we'll get to that. You want to hit that now?
No, I'm going to always get to it because people are crazy.
I mean, I was just going to ask about the roster. If you want, go for it.
Okay, we'll hit it later.
What's the roster? What you got?
Tyler Brown working at center?
I've seen him doing a lot of work. Again, this is that time of the year where they're off doing their own thing. They're not being coached. And so I have seen Tyler in the end zone after workouts doing center work. I absolutely have. But I've also seen him doing guard work, And I've also seen him throwing up 225 on the bench.
Yeah.
I think right now Tyler is probably a Swiss Army knife, pocket knife on the O-line. You got to see how everything shakes out and who's better at what spot as we go through spring ball. And so Tyler is probably doing what is smart for Tyler, and that is to sharpen up his skills anywhere across that front because you never know how this is going to shake out, where you're going to be assigned.
And that's how you should always approach it as an offensive lineman.
Yeah,
the more
sure.
you can do, I mean.
Absolutely.
I could think of dozens of players who have played for the Broncos, and obviously that's the one I'm closest to, who make the roster as an offensive lineman simply because they can play three positions. Mm-hmm. And it's like, hey, you can be our backup left tackle, right tackle, and left guard, or whatever it may be. So I love to see that. And maybe we'll learn more about that tomorrow, Jake.
Yeah. And, and speaking of O-line and roster, Sav'ell is looking good out there. Not just a running back, but
Washington.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, everybody has a good little swag about them. I think this group walks around knowing, hey man, we're better than last year. That ain't us. And let's start acting like it right now. And they got a chip on their shoulder.
I love it.
And then just the other freshmen, I feel like Brandon Davis-Swain has already kind of become a fan favorite among people. What can you tell us about him?
Some of these guys, man, I think they are here not only offer their football acumen, but these guys got some great personalities.
Yeah.
Some great
they're character.
Yes, they are. I was about to say that, Jake. They are yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am, and yes, sir, no, sir guys without being told or reminded to. They are just like Coach Prime. You see them walking, and they see a piece of tape on the field. They pick it up without somebody saying, pick that up. And he's just another one of those guys that he looks like he's been here. Mm-hmm. Like, no, they're not walking around the building like, even though I know where to go, should I go? They walk around like they own the place, like it's their building.
Yeah. I love that.
I do too, man. We are – so mid-January of last year, as it relates to, say, the spring game or opening weekend, we're so much further ahead right now than we were a year ago. Other than installs and schemes, these guys, from a relationship standpoint, communication standpoint, they're ready to play together now.
Well, I mean, shoot, this time last year, we're still assembling a coaching staff.
Yeah.
We're still adding through the portal.
And people are scared.
Yeah.
A
lot of change.
Yeah, man. And the advantage of that, Jake, a year later is you're just going to be so much ahead of the schedule when you start practicing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about this time last year and look at the roster, it'll blow your mind. If you just think about, this time last year, if they were throwing, Montana Lamonius Craig was probably the X wide receiver.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not only does he not end up being the starter, he's not even on the team come week one.
I
don't think we're going to see nearly as much turnover, but it does kind of unfortunately put into perspective how far away we are from,
that's a great point.
from this team taking the field.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think just like you said, right now to then, most of this room would be the same. You're going to have some turnover, some churn with the spring portal, but not like you had last year. And the people that are here are, they're more than likely here. The names that the names of people that came here to do this, to do the damn thing. But they look ready, man. Physically, you know, and I'm going to share this with you two like I did before last year. Once all of the pre-testing is uploaded with Coach Mo, and we get to see, you know, line by line, who's strong, who need.
Yeah.
I can't wait to compare that to where we were this time last year. Because, you know, you guys know kind of inside baseball, and we talk. This time last year, we not only had a small team, we had a weak team.
Yeah.
Like none of their bench press numbers were in the you know, top half of the pack.
Yeah.
You know, and I can't wait to see the post measurements from these past couple of days of testing.
And I actually am just guessing here because I heard them counting to it, but I think Chidoze hit 39 reps.
I think he turned out to be 37 or 38.
Okay.
But yeah, it was insane.
That's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous.
And what was so crazy about not his 37, 38, 39, 40, it doesn't even matter after 35. Like, you're at the NFL Combine, hell, they just stop. Like,
right.
we good.
Yep.
The speed and fluidity that he did the first 23 was ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like even Tyler, when Tyler got to 21, 22, 23, there was a slowing, and he got to 27 and maybe 28.
Yeah.
This dude did 21 through 25 like he did 1 through 5.
That's
like there was no hiccups, no.
And honestly, of any position, I think that would probably be the one that I would want to be able to bench press the most.
Definitely.
Because that's where you're literally using your chest to try and, you know, your chest strength to shed guys.
And he's got that low center of gravity, man. He's a stump. Like,
yep.
Dude is real.
Yeah, I called him a fire hydrant.
Yeah. Yeah, he's always smiling and eating. I think Coach. I think his favorite person is not a coach, but Chef Carl Solomon. Like,
yeah,
yeah. So Brady said 29. I thought it was 39.
No, he got into the 30s
because they're counting. You can hear him counting it.
Yeah, he got into the 30s.
I thought it was 37, 38, 39.
What's Chef Carl been cooking up?
Woo! Man, we had steak and crab cakes today.
Oh my gosh.
Yesterday or day before yesterday was scallops and lobster.
Man,
it's like it is unreal, man. I got a whole like segment of first week meals that's gonna drop.
They welcomed you back then, huh?
Oh man.
Or I guess everyone got
they
welcomed back.
Everybody back. You know, it was. I'm a simple guy, man. Like we got there one day, first day we had grilled cheese and tomato soup, and I love using my sandwich as a spoon.
Oh yeah.
But then you go to dinner and it's lobster and scallops, and then the next day is steak and crab cakes. I don't know who would not love that food, man.
I would have such a easy time staying on my keto diet if I was up there.
Oh yeah.
There's just always like so much protein available.
Just tomahawks just on
exactly.
on the thing.
All right, but I'm 2 weeks strong right now.
Good for you, man.
With
That's
the gray shoes.
Yes, new shoes.
All right, shout out to our new and great friends over at Circle K. You can kind of see it when the camera's on RK, but we got a whole snack stash back
snack
there.
aisle back there, man.
Snack stack.
There it is.
Oh yeah, there it is.
So hit up Circle K, get all your snacks on the road. We got popcorn, we got chips, peanuts, all kinds of good stuff over there. Sign up for their Inner Circle. That's their free membership program. Just scan the QR code on the screen, or all you have to do is enter your email and phone number to be fully enrolled. First 5 fill-ups of gas are 25 cents off a gallon. Your first 5 Polar Pops are free, and every 6th is free on several items such as pizza, roller grills, dispensed beverages, and more. Scan that QR code or go to circlek.com/inner-circle for more info. What's your favorite road trip snack, Unc?
Favorite road trip snack? I have to get the yellow bag of peanut M&Ms, and I get the bag that says for sharing, but I don't share.
Hell yeah.
Any pizza is a personal pizza if you have the willpower.
True.
So you never have to buy the personal pizza, that little thing.
Yeah.
Just get you a pizza, man, and wheel your way through it. That's how with the M&Ms. It's like, hey, I don't want that bag. I want the bag they say is for sharing.
Fair.
Because me is gonna share with I.
And then Breck Brew.
Big shout out to Breckenridge Brewery.
I like how you lobbed it over there.
One of the best.
That's what I have to do now.
Oh, that was like D-Wade to LeBron in Miami, man.
Yeah.
You just tossed it up there.
One of the best weekends of the year coming up is this weekend of football.
Absolutely.
High level games. I mean, we'll talk about the NFC in a second, but in the AFC we're getting Lamar versus Stroud.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. And then we're getting Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, if this was championship week, we'd all be, happy with that. So, got a great weekend coming up. Why not go down and get yourself a variety pack of Breckenridge brews to just have on deck? If you're a pro,
Which you are.
yes,
Yeah.
you take those Breck brews, you put them in a cooler, and then just put them on the couch next to you. Never have to get up to get a beer.
Love it.
In
You
fact,
are
when I
pro.
was in college one year during this weekend, we just had a keg and we just positioned it like where this table is. We just
Yeah.
went between you and me and just
Yeah.
had it all day, just
Beautiful.
filling it up. So hit up our friends over at Breck Brew and get your NFL playoff weekend right.
Let's go. Are we saving Paris?
Yeah,
for questions.
There's plenty of questions about it, so let's save it.
Okay, so Coach Prime went on RG3's podcast.
He did.
Really quick, someone in the comments said that CU hasn't gotten any transfers from a well-known team,
Come on, man.
and I just have to point out
Come on, man.
how wrong that is.
What are they drinking? Because I want some.
You can't. Why do you read these people's
I don't
comments
know,
out, bro?
I'm like, come on, man.
Sometimes things
Like,
are just
dude,
so wrong. They
like,
have to be.
dude, like,
They
just
have to be
stop.
called out. Like they literally have Alabama and LSU. I don't know what else. What more you could want?
Stop, man.
You're
like,
right.
stop.
We have
Like who?
Kentucky, we have NC State, LSU, TCU,
Alabama.
Houston,
Always have a Florida
Pitt,
State in there.
Oklahoma State, Arkansas,
All
Don't
right,
forget
all
New
right.
Mexico State. I mean, that's a
and New
program.
Mexico, Florida Atlantic. I can keep going.
Yeah,
They
man.
have
Like, who
been-
said that? What's their screen name? Let's just put them.
It was a while ago, but it stuck with me long enough
Like,
that I
come
had
on,
to say
man.
something.
All right.
What more? Do we got to get transfers like from the New Orleans Saints now or something? Like what does it take for people to recognize people come here?
Coach Prime went on RG3's podcast the other day, and
Today it came out today.
Came out
did it
today,
come out today?
yeah.
Okay, so it comes out today. I haven't listened to it yet, but one of the moments of this podcast apparently is Coach Prime and RG3 are talking about basically the head coaches who have publicly challenged Coach Prime or called him out.
Challenge is a nice way of putting it.
Well, I mean, they've basically just thrown dirt on his name is what's
There you
been
go.
going on. Coach Prime commented on this. He said, I don't allow our coaching staff to ever comment on another school. You don't have to put another school down to put us up. I don't play that. Our staff knows. The way you get fired is to let me hear you talk about another institution with a kid. Now, kids have recorded conversations with head coaches, not just assistants, head coaches, downing us and selling us out and just talking about us like a dog. I just politely call the head coach and say, look here, man, I don't really know you. I wish the best for you, but be careful. Because when these kids bring phones into your meetings, you are exposed to certain things. I'm not going to put you out there, but just keep my name out of your mouth. I've had to have that conversation.
There's so many layers to this. I don't know
There's
where
a
to
lot,
start.
I know.
I'll start with the first one, which is, can you just imagine the look on the face of, I don't know, Dan Lanning. Let's just pick a random
Random.
when you get that call from Deion Sanders telling you to keep his name out of your mouth, and you're caught red-handed talking shit, and it's just like, I can't even imagine. Like, you just know their heart drops, their face turns white.
Yep. Yeah, they're very glad it's a phone call at that point and not a
Yeah, not
face-to-face
face-to-face,
or FaceTime because
but
they're hiding a bit.
absolutely. And here's what we also absolutely know: it's going to happen again.
Oh, of course.
You know, and I have been in the staff meetings with Coach Prime where he has said to the staff and to everybody in the room, that's not what we do. You know, when you got out here recruiting, don't even mention other schools' names negatively or positively. You have nothing to talk about but Colorado. That's the way we're going to recruit. You know, sell yourself. They can't come here just because of me. Go do your thing, but we don't recruit that way because other people are doing it to us. And the reason now those were his words. These are my words. The reason people are doing it with us is the only hope that they have. It's like they can't talk you into coming to where they are. They have to talk you out of coming here first.
Yep.
You know, and so because the inclination is to come to this program to play for a guy with a gold jacket, to play for this staff, you know, that is just second to none from top to bottom. So the only way you can do that is to shoot holes in it. Is to say stuff like, well, I heard he's leaving, or, he's not going to be there long, or, they don't have a DC yet, or anything you can come up with. Their first pitch is to try to piss on us versus celebrate themselves. And we never mention them when we recruit. We only mention ourselves. So it's going to keep happening because that's what happens when you're at the top. And we're at the top of the recruiting game.
And it's not maybe going to work on everyone, but you have to imagine some of these players notice that.
Mm-hmm. Of course. They spoke about it.
Not to get too deep into my personal life here, but when I was very young, my parents were divorced. And, I used to split time between them. My mom never said anything about my dad. She didn't talk about him. Yeah. My dad was constantly talking shit.
Your mom was Coach Prime.
It pissed me off. I hated that. Yeah. I was like, stop talking. Why are you talking shit about my mom to me? Mm-hmm. And I think that people will notice that. Not every recruit. Some recruit is going to get, fooled by the negative recruiting. But a lot of people will say, man, whenever I'm talking to Coach Prime or someone on Colorado, all they're telling me about is how great Colorado is. And it sounds really awesome. When I talk to so-and-so, all they're telling me about is how terrible Colorado is. Yeah. And it must mean they don't have that much great things to say about where they are.
And here's the thing, RK. You are spot on, amen, everything you just said. I would believe that coaching pitch of pissing on Colorado fails 8 out of 10 times. Mm-hmm. But they just need it to work the 2 times that it does. So they're playing baseball, They're trying to bat 200 or 300, and if it works on this guy, we won. It's certainly not going to work on everybody because you're actually insulting these young men, insulting their families. They're not going to see through the BS of dissing somebody to promote yourself. I don't care if you have a sports show like we have. When have you ever heard us talking about somebody else's show?
Never.
We never, literally.
Yeah, but how
for that one Utah podcast.
How often do we see them mentioning us? Like it's the same concept. So it's going to keep on going. We are at the top of the totem pole in this thing, and I think you're going to see the results of being at the top of the recruiting game manifest themselves on the field. Starting Labor Day weekend.
I love that he said this, not only because Jordan Seaton said it out loud, what do you want to go there and be a rapper, that thing, just to address that. Yeah. But Coach Prime is hilarious in how he does this stuff because he's a very, polite, he is a people person, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He will take time out of his day to talk to you, to pick your brain, to allow you to pick his. But, man, if you cross him, he does stuff like this, and he'll just call you out straight up. And just stand on business. I absolutely love it.
And whenever he stands on business, you better believe he has the receipts. He ain't talking about what he heard.
Oh, yeah.
He's not something that somebody came told him. He has the facts to back up. And so if you start that BS of pushing back and challenging it, then the facts start coming out. So I think what you heard on the RG3 show was, in Navy terms, a shot across the bow to get other guys' attention. Mm-hmm. Hey, might not want to do this because they come back and tell me I'm going to start telling the world what you said. So cool out. But it's going to happen because they don't feel like they have a choice.
We did this, most of the shit talking that we got last year was way after this point. Pat Narduzzi wasn't until the spring game. Yeah. And then Dan Lanning was around media day. Brett Venables was in the dead of the offseason calling out what was going on at Colorado. So, yeah, stay tuned.
Yeah.
I'll say this. I kind of wish that, and I know Coach Prime's certainly not going to do this on at least right now, but I wish we would just expose whoever it is.
Oh, I'd love it.
Oh, no, it's going to happen when it happens again.
Leak the recordings because
it's going to happen when it happens again, and it's going to happen again.
And I know you guys know exactly what I'm talking about here, but depending on who said, are you trying to be a football player or trying to be a rapper?
Which was very racist.
Exactly.
Yes.
That makes a big difference, and saying shit like that, you deserve to be exposed.
Yeah,
definitely.
It's insulting, and even going to guys and their families with the quote-unquote bag as if they're just making money decisions, is insulting. Telling somebody, oh, you just want to be a rapper or a YouTuber is insulting. So you are demeaning the intelligence of these young men who are primarily young black men, and you're dissing them and dissing their families, and you're dissing a guy that if that player is not of age to know to look up to Deion Sanders, his parents certainly do.
Yep.
And so who's going to sit in the room and let you talk crap about Muhammad Ali?
Right.
You know, who's going to sit in the room and let you talk crap about Barack Obama? Who's going to sit in the room and let you talk crap about Deion Sanders? These people are heroes to people. And if your only pitch is to piss on them, man, it ain't going to work.
Yeah.
It's only going to agitate them. Like, they're going to, on the way to the car, they're going to be saying, like, hey, man, all he did was, like, this Colorado.
Right.
He didn't tell us about the cafeteria here. Like what?
And what's weird is you're doing it about someone they know.
Yes,
It's like
that's
if someone,
my point.
Yeah, like if someone came to the bar one night and we were sitting down there having drinks and they were just like, man, Uncle Neely, that guy sucks. Like this, that, and the other thing, I would be like, I know him. Like,
Right.
Everything you're saying doesn't add up with everything that I know about this person. Like, why are you trying to pull this shit on me?
And fun fact with RK and Neely, not to exclude Jake. Jake was like in arm's reach. But at a bar, when you're talking shit and I overhear it, I respond to it.
He will. that was about the definition of standing on business.
And we would just start to work together then, man. Like, hey, but I got to give it to you, man. You didn't budge. You didn't budge.
Oh, that was good.
Like this guy's talking shit, man. We got to handle it.
Yep.
Then he ended up buying the shots.
He did. But as soon as I saw you like perk up, I was like, oh, let's go. Like, I'm right with him.
He had no idea who was in the room, man. He was just talking.
Yep. That happens a lot.
Let's keep your mouth closed, man.
It happened we were on the plane too.
To Utah?
It was to Utah.
Utah.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's funny.
I still got some killer footage in my phone from Utah, man, that I hadn't dropped.
That feels like a lifetime ago.
It does.
It really does.
But the whole car episode.
It wasn't even 3 months ago.
It wasn't.
But just think about like how long the holidays seem.
Even longer
crazy.
because I missed you guys, man.
Missed you too,
Bromance.
Missed the hell out of you, bro.
I got one more question for you before we get to the chat's questions.
Let's do it.
Have you met Coach Devin Rispress, Coach Riz?
Man, yes. Not only met him, his interview will be dropping this weekend.
Let's go.
We got another dog catcher in the house.
Let's go.
You know, like one. Don't sleep on these guys, man. I know we spend a lot of time talking about Deion Sanders, Coach Prime. Rightly so. He is the head coach. He is the lightning rod, the magnet. He has the gravitas. I get it. But when you look at like Corey Phillips, Box, Slayton, what she's doing in there, and now adding Rispress to the mix, and his ability to get talent out of high schools, and not only out of high schools, because he coached a lot of these guys in the Florida area. When they get ready to hit the portal, you're talking about somebody who has a relationship with them already. And so if you go to Tallahassee and not all the way out into the Gulf of Mexico, but just draw like a 600-mile circle all the way to D.C. and down through the rest of Florida, man, he knows the recruiting game there, has the relationship with the coaches, and more importantly, the players. You know, he's probably put 200 guys into college on scholarship and in the NFL as well. So hell of an addition to the staff, man. Sat down with him about a 15-minute segment. He is already at work. And he had one mission, man. He was brought here for one purpose, and that's to sign dogs.
We've been seeing the offers he's been putting out.
Yeah.
He is literally going after the best recruits.
Period.
Yep.
Tell you what my dad told me once, Jake. He said, more times than not, the prettiest girl in the room ain't dancing because ain't nobody asked her. So go ask her.
Yep.
Don't just assume she can't dance or don't dance. Probably nobody asked because everybody's scared to ask her.
I love that.
And so sometimes you got to deliberately outkick your coverage. Just go for it. Like, you know what? I ain't going after nothing but the best up in here. And that's what he brings to the table, as if Coach Prime didn't. Now
Right.
you just got another person
For sure.
out there talking it.
I saw someone say this the other day, but it's a point I've been wanting to touch on. I forget who it was, so sorry. One of the bigger national recruiting people said on Twitter, it has never been more important to come in second place in someone's recruitment. Because
Definitely.
if it doesn't work out for them at the first place they went, what are they going to think? Did I make the wrong call? Should I have gone the
Absolutely.
other way?
Absolutely.
And so the reason I bring this up is, one, because Coach Riz had a lot of special talent coming into FAMU and at least giving them a look. And maybe they ended up deciding, hey, I still do want to go play in the SEC. Mm-hmm. But they remembered that relationship, and now they're like, oh, he's with Coach Prime at Colorado? That's an in.
And before that, I got to throw this in. Before that, they played in his 7-on-7 league, and they were in 8th grade.
Yep.
Like, so when he's talking to a guy that's a junior in college, he's known them since they were 13.
Yep.
Like, beat that.
Exactly. And the other reason I bring this up is because this is something that everyone needs to think about. When someone doesn't choose your school, think about the way that you treat them. Because they might be considering your school 12 months from then. And it's why I started the whole thing. It started with Boo Carter. It's not goodbye, it's see you later. Like, think about that with everyone. Anytime they don't choose Colorado, it's not goodbye, it's see you later.
This is why I've been trying to tell, like, the chat and these fans, like, don't get upset that people are clout chasing. Like, if you're there at the finish line, that's a good thing. Like, it's not a bad thing that we got picked or someone picked a school over us, especially with these top, 5 stars, top 75 recruits. Like, don't call them clout chasers. They're not, like, they're being courted by multiple schools.
Yeah, you can't do that. And spot on, amen, amen. We also have to appreciate that whereas we're talking about a guy that may be a sophomore and junior in college, and we're dissing him on X, formerly known as Twitter, because he changed his mind, you got to understand there's an 11th grader reading that stuff too.
Exactly.
And so they're like, hey, man, look how that fan base turns on you when you don't do what they want you to do.
Exactly.
So you got to always take the high road in communicating this stuff, particularly electronically. Wish everybody well. So, what did Coach Prime, like if he's the drum major for this, if he's our leader in this, what did he say to the coach that was talking crap about him? I wish you the best.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. like we ain't mad at nobody, man.
When it goes to the same thing of him telling his coaches don't negatively recruit, like it's all the same thing.
Well,
like you should just keep positive energy in the air.
Period. You don't have to beat up on somebody because they don't want to play for you, or they leave or they change their mind. Man, it's all good.
Yeah.
Love it.
I will say though, if Caden Proctor goes back to Iowa, which it looks like he's going to, then I guess it doesn't matter what the fans say. Same thing with Caleb Downs in Georgia.
Yeah.
I mean, both of those were neck and neck, and then, of course, both of those fan bases started popping off the second they didn't choose them.
Right. All right, let's get to questions here.
Like that.
We got a lot to get to. Louise with the first question. Top questions for Neely. DC announcement, we already kind of hit that. Do you have a status update on Bishop Thomas at all?
I'll take both. DC announcement could really be any day now. I mean, it could be taking place while we're sitting here. It's that kind of imminent. And then Bishop, don't know his status, can only talk about my eyeball test, I haven't seen him since I've been here. I haven't seen him in the building.
All right.
Hoping he finds a way to get back on the right side of the fence.
Yep. Eric wants to know, how is Mississippi?
Man, it was wonderful. Thank you, Eric, for asking. I got to be home about 40 days, man. And
let's go.
Wore the hell out of the PlayStation 5. And
what you been playing?
Oh, man, you know me. I'm like Call of Duty. I threw in a little NBA with my son.
Yeah?
But he...
GTA?
I can do the retro GTA, but I am so passionate about this new one that's coming out.
I know.
I just don't even want to touch old versions until we get that.
It's all we got right now, though.
We should do like some sort of gaming thing one of these days.
Definitely.
All three of us play different games for sure, but we can. I feel like that would be entertaining. Like, I haven't played Call of Duty since I was in college, but I'm down to sesh it out on Twitch.
Let's go.
Yeah, I love it. So thanks, Eric. Everything was good at home, man. Good to be with the fam.
Stamp burger,
stamp?
Oh, I got a stamp burger. Not only got a stamp burger, but I took the 100K plaque to stamps, and so the owner could see it. It was family-owned business because the first live show I ever did, I did live from Stamp Burgers.
That's awesome.
Let's go. Who's your favorite player you've met so far?
Woo, man, don't do that to me. Because I'm telling you, we got some personalities. Y'all are going to enjoy.
Name 3 or so then.
Y'all going to enjoy like the social media platforms this training camp and through the season. Give me Seaton, give me Benson, and then I'm still loving, Cam and JB.
Oh yeah.
From the JSU days. We got another guy who just came from JSU. We had a quick stop in, I think it was either Iowa or Idaho, but Herm.
So he's on the team.
Herm is here.
Okay.
And y'all he's a good one too. It's going to take him a while to, he's got to focus on transitioning first, but he's here. So another JSU guy's here. But man, this team has some personalities. Anyone who has played for Coach Prime before, or watched the documentary, or just been on YouTube in the 18 months. You know that there are cameras around, and I haven't seen any of the new players not resist it. They embrace it. Like, it's part of why they come here. You know, they know that this is how we run the program.
Well, Pat Shurmur seems more comfortable in front of the camera now, too.
Yeah, he does, man. He does. Yeah, he does. I think Pat is one of those guys that believes in process and structure and what's it called? Chain of command.
Yeah.
And so when he was analyst and then co-offense coordinator, he never wanted to do anything, outside of that. Because even with me being inside, I say, hey, Coach Shurmur, let's do this. He's like, no, do it with Coach Lewis, But now it's his office.
Yeah.
So you see a Pat who's in charge.
To that quick comment right there, we never, ever need to add Air Force to the schedule. Or any team that runs the triple option, for that matter.
Yeah.
Just a headache that no one needs.
I love your eye to pick out those ones like that. Just like, let me address this right now.
It's one I stand on. I never want to play Air Force again.
Eric again, thoughts on the backlash on Shedeur and Shiloh going to Paris for the Louis show?
The moment we've all been waiting
for. So I gotta tell you, Eric, I don't know if I appreciate that setup or not, because I don't know if this is going to be all that profound. I have seen backlash, right? But you always have this vocal minority on the internet that just because you're loud doesn't mean that you're speaking for a lot of people. But even if you're speaking for millions, even if there are millions of people saying this, let me tell you about internally with the program. There was not a person in that team meeting, coach or player, media, support staff, that did not understand or would not have also embraced the opportunity to be in Paris with Louis Vuitton and Pharrell than the first week of school when school wasn't even in and practice is not even happening. So for people to make a big deal out of Shiloh or Shedeur not being there to the day of service in Denver to feed the homeless, this thing was on the books. It's not like this was planned last week. Like, this is an event that they put together with months and months of preparation. And when you're at that age, even hell, my age, to be invited to participate in what is potentially a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity in a foreign country, traveling abroad, experiencing another culture for a week, and to top it off, to be in a fashion show with Louis Vuitton, that your dad helps promote, because everybody wanted the Louis luggage here, and then we get invited to be in the Louis fashion show in Paris, and you got two guys that are invited to go do it. Why would they not go?
Yep.
It's like, rewind a couple of months ago, and I mentioned on this show that we do together that Travis was at an NBA game, and it was like, oh, he missed a team meeting. Then Travis can miss a meeting.
Yes.
Like, no, he can't. Like, yes, he can. And Shedeur Sanders and Shiloh can miss their dad speaking on opening day, their head coach speaking on opening day. They can miss going to feed the homeless. Like, this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that every player in that room, Shiloh and Shedeur, for instance, were at practice today, conditioning today, doing their thing with their teammates. Ain't nobody mad. Of course. The only people who's mad is people who outside the building who wish they could have gone.
Or people who just are totally clueless to the opportunity and the scale
huge, man.
At which, if you just look at some of the names of the other celebrities who are there, it's like these guys are being put in an A-list class, and I think if anyone's going to understand it and be happy for them, it's their teammates.
Yeah. And
peers.
one of the things that we noticed here on this program, because we're around Shedeur, we're around Travis, around the team, and we get this eyeball of them from our lens, and then you saw them sitting courtside at the NBA game, right? Mm-hmm. And saw LeBron James recognize what we recognize.
Yes.
And you're like, man, that's right. These dudes are national celebrities.
Yes.
Well, here's the truth, fellas, and to the haters out there, they're international celebrities. Like, they just crossed the pond, and they took CU and American college football with them. So if you have anything to do with college football in general, or Colorado, you should be damn happy they were there, not mad.
And the one point that I didn't address yesterday that I did want to point out today is this idea that only Shedeur and Shiloh could have gotten that opportunity, and that only Coach Prime would have made
meaning the hall pass.
Yes. Okay. I am very confident that if it were Jordan Seaton or Travis Hunter or Tyler Brown, who was given this opportunity, and they came to Coach, whatever it was, 6 months in advance, and said, hey, Coach, I'm not sure what day meetings are going to start, but I have this opportunity. It would mean a lot for me to go. They absolutely would have been given the green light.
Man, you're spot on again. And any player, and I don't care if you're a walk-on, I don't care if it's Charlie Offerdahl all the way up to the 2 guys that went. Any player that would have gone to this head coach with the kind of notice that this event had and said, hey, man, Coach, I don't know what we're doing the first week of January, 2 weeks of January, but this coincides with the first week of school and this opportunity I really want to take. Not only would he would have said yes, he would have said, now how do I help you get there?
Yeah.
Like, how do we make this work for you? I want you to experience these kind of things in your life. The world is bigger than just Boulder. We're going to be here when you get back. Now, you're going to work your ass off when you get back. You know, Shedeur and Shiloh were running today. Like, ain't no passes. But, man, who doesn't understand to take that opportunity?
Yep.
I mean, I haven't said too much on it, and it's kind of just because I don't care. Like, I feel like if I was on the team, if I was on the team and I was their teammate, I would not care. I would be so concerned with what I have to do with weight programs,
that is so
sprint
simply
programs.
profound, man. I love it.
That is the truth. I'd be so concerned with what I have to do that I don't care if my
That's a
teammate
great point.
in the middle of January is not there for 2 days.
Yeah.
100%.
And literally school hadn't even started.
Yes.
Like, why are we worried about
Exactly.
And who cares if it did?
I have missed school because I wanted to get another 6-pack of beer.
Yes.
I know I would miss it to go to Paris.
Oh, yeah. I used to take my spring break a week early because my friends who went to ASU had their spring break
So you
a
off
week
2
before me,
weeks,
so I was just taking a 2-week spring break every year.
Vernon wants to know if you know about Shedeur's back, how that's coming along.
I do not know from a medical sense of having read a report, but I can tell you this. I saw no hitch in his giddy up today. He was doing sprints with everybody. He was doing the weighted sled push for 10 and 20 yards with everybody, and not just doing it, I mean, competing and doing it well. He did not look like the Shedeur you saw in, say, late November walking around, you know, where you could tell, no, that ain't pimping, that's limping, like something is wrong. He was back to his regular stride and regular movements. I did not talk to him directly and say, hey, man, is there some pain or anything? But I don't see any signs of discomfort in what he's out there participating in because it's not like he was held back out of any of the drills.
Last thing on Louis. I don't know exactly how it would work because of the partnership with Nike, but have you seen that kind of like Louis pattern that they've created? It was like on some of the gloves. It's on some graphics and stuff like that. What if they were actually able to do like a collab with either gear or like a helmet or just something? I think it would be sick.
It would be sick, and it would be sicker is how sick the haters would get. So let's make it happen.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they already are, but they'd be turning away people at the Folsom Field to come play for them if that was the case.
There was a weird, and I'll let this go after this, but a weird
No, you won't.
uprising of Denver media who got in on this in the last 24 hours.
They only stick their hands and see you when it's shit like this, and
Yes.
it's fucking annoying.
It's very annoying, but
Great use of the F-bomb.
Thank you, bro.
I just wrote it down. Just, keeping receipts.
I might have bookmarked a few things.
Because the part that pisses me off the most is the idea that this somehow affects a football game in September. And that just drives me insane.
It just doesn't.
And then you're making this like kind of insinuating that Shedeur and Shiloh aren't putting in the work. And they're trying to skirt around the work. And the three of us know you would be hard-pressed to find a guy on either side of the ball that works harder than those two.
Absolutely. And if they did take time off, it's because they did like you with spring break. They had been humping for 2 weeks pause, getting it together. So, like, it's absurd to think that somehow these two ain't putting in the work, man. Like, come on.
Yeah. All right. We're putting that to bed.
Can we, please not talk about this ever again.
I love Jake's take on it. He not only worked in the F-bomb there, but it's like I don't care enough to care. Like, who noticed?
I'm sorry. Like, all due respect to them, like, when we heard about this and stuff earlier in the week, it's just like, cool.
That's what I did.
Yeah. Like,
I was like, oh, man, that's great. Great opportunity.
Like,
I didn't even think about, it's the MLK Day of Service. Like,
it's ridiculous.
And I'm sure those guys will go make up for the service in one way or another.
I'm sure they have already done enough in life
to
make up for a day of service.
Africa's in the building. Prince wants to know, or he says, thank you for the show, first off. Then he says, any good chance that Caleb Downs comes to see you? I mean, never say never, but I doubt it.
I liked what Colin said yesterday about it. Life of Football. He said it's probably a 99% chance he goes to Georgia, but what if that 1% chance to see
That's
you?
true.
It's like Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
So you're saying there's a chance.
That's true.
Yeah, that's gonna be a tough one. And the rumor is that Georgia's kind of trying to flex their NIL muscle on Alabama on this one to show you're in a world of trouble. Because as I said yesterday, Alabama's been getting the Saban discount for a while now. All of a sudden, that's out the door, and they don't have the NIL collective that you think they might have
because they
haven't needed it yet.
Right. Exactly.
And so Georgia's going to be like, watch this. We're going to throw quarterback money at Caleb Downs just to show you that you're in trouble.
They're already visiting him at his home in Georgia.
Yep.
I got to give y'all this. When y'all mentioned, this is what I was looking for on the phone, off subject to that, but previous subject. When y'all talked about the Denver media hating, Coach Prime hadn't been in Jackson in 13 plus months, and this was last season when we were on this kind of losing streak, if you will. There was a journalist in Jackson media who used to beg for interviews, weekly interviews, that kind of thing, and so he posted on his Facebook, "Damn, Colorado lost again. Where's the Louis?" And so people were laughing and sharing with it. And I typed, in no burner count, I said, and y'all are applauding this. And this is the same guy that wanted them interviews. We keep receipts. So I challenge and applaud you guys.
Yeah.
Those Denver people who did that, please keep the receipts. Because when they come to those weekly press conferences, just give me the little signal it was that one.
Yeah.
We keep receipts.
I'll forward you the tweets, bro.
Receipts. Because come on, man, you can't. We good. You can't have it both ways.
Cortland asked, Smalls was officially in the white practice shirt and new reach the people /well-off, so the move to tight end seems pretty confirmed, right? What can you tell us?
I really can't tell us anything until we start truly practicing in position groups.
Doing football things?
Yeah, like he's white signifies offense. I can give you that. But to say what he's doing and what he'll be doing in April, not there yet.
Yeah,
not there enough for me to confirm, above what you saw in the video.
Yep, it could be one of those things where it's like, hey, test it out right now.
Yeah,
see how you like it. Mm-hmm. And
yeah, we're early in this process, y'all. Way early.
It's a tough time though right now. There's not a lot of news, so.
Yeah, and it's an exciting time because football is back.
Yeah,
we're going through strength and conditioning, and you'll see a lot of stuff coming out in February, and then you really start that aggressive training in March. By the time you do what's going to be scheduled spring break, you come after that, it's straight up on for spring ball, man. And that crescendo and that wave. And then we're let down again because that's May and June and no football, and then we pick back up in July.
I'm so serious, though, when I say I've never covered a team where the fans are examining where the players are sitting in meetings, and I appreciate it so much. I love it. I love that you guys are that engaged. That someone could say, hey, look, Sav'ell Smalls is sitting next to Shimon Mateer and Louis Passarello. Does that mean he's switched to tight end? I'm like, that is sick. I love that you guys care enough to even notice that.
I love it too, but I trip out over the I love the caring, but I trip out over the theories based on what you're saying. I'll be in that room. I didn't
see Trevor Woods in the first video. Is he off the team?
Yeah,
4 months of...
And I ate lunch with Trevor Woods today. Yeah. And it's I'll see a guy sit right there because he was almost about to be late, so he took the first empty seat. And then it comes out in the video, and they go oh, no, he's playing long snapper now because I saw him. Yeah. No, he just took the first seat. And then the one I love the most is Coach Prime's first staff meeting. He's, of course, at the head of the table. I was looking for a vantage point, so I got at the end of the table to shoot across coaches' faces to him, and the world went crazy saying that Ken Norton Jr. was in the room.
That was wild.
And I'm like I literally,
Jim Leonard at the same time.
I literally went back through my footage and looked at each face in the room because I know everybody in the room, and the crowd was so damn confident that Ken Norton Jr., I was like, did I walk by Ken Norton Jr.? Let me go check. And I looked at each face. I was like, no. And then I didn't even see a guy who you would think was Ken Norton Jr.
Or Jim Leonard.
I love it. Again, I love the passion. Appreciate you watching. But when y'all come up with these theories about who you saw, Like, no, that was not Kid Norton Jr. I don't know which black guy you thought it was.
I saw someone post that, and I watched it like 13 times in a row, being like, which person do they think
is Kid Norton Jr.?
Like Google is free. You can go look at what these guys look at.
I didn't see him.
As I told you two, I was like, they're in the DC desert seeing mirages. So you can see what, if you squint hard enough, you can see whatever you want.
Well, I can tell you that Kid Norton Jr. was not in the room.
On that whole thing, 4 months of Where's Cormani kind of just...
I mean, I'm going to tell you this about Cormani, man.
We didn't ask about Cormani. How's he doing?
He is doing great. And his body language, even his conditioning today, his being vocal. Because I think people, if you watched Coach Prime, the documentary, wait, shout out to you two guys. Y'all did great.
You too, bro.
I did great. You finally got to hear Cormani talk.
Yep.
And you saw his personality in that. He is clearly, this week, you can see that he's no longer a freshman. You know, I think the freshman, you know, the youngest kid in the room kind of stuff is worn off. He's moving better, talking better. He's responding better in drills. And I know we're just a week in, but you can see the growth between right now and, say, July.
Love that. I mean, if Cormani becomes Cormani this year, it's a game changer.
Absolutely.
Kid was 18 last year, man.
Yep.
Yeah. Like when he got here and couldn't breathe, he was just at his prom.
Yes.
You know, I couldn't breathe after my prom either.
Jay-Z, CZ.
All right, that's enough.
Hey, speaking of stuff like that, oh, I'm sorry. Speaking of like high school stuff to prom stuff transition, Dylan Edwards yesterday, I'm sitting at the table with some other guys, and he's there, and he's about to get up. He says, "Hey, man," and he has this nervous energy look in his face, right? He's like, "Hey, man, have y'all ever had a real class?" And everybody's like, "Huh?" He's like, "Man, I'm about to go to my first class, like in person. You know, I was all virtual." And he looked like a freshman in the face. He looked like, and I was happy for him. I was like, this is, because, you know, he was another guy who came early.
Yep.
Like, he got here like halfway out of high school, and I didn't realize all his classes were virtual. So he had his first in-person class, man, and the excitement and nervousness on his face, like, I hope I can find a building. Where do I sit? It was cool. It was cool to see them.
I love that.
Not be football players, you know.
I don't miss much about school. I do miss that first day feeling, walking in a new class, seeing all the new faces.
Yeah, he had it.
I love that.
He had it. And then you gotta, and I'm not putting words in Dylan's mouth, you know, if he sees this clip, this segment, if it were me, and I'm just coming off that TCU game and being all in the Coach Prime documentary, I'm walking in class about 2 minutes before it starts. I'm not going to be early. Y'all going to see me walk in. Like, hey, it's me, Dylan Edwards, you know, from the documentary.
Yeah. With 10 extra pounds of muscle on him now.
Does he look bigger?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Let's go.
He, now it's early, y'all, don't panic. In the sled drill today, I've filmed him and Sav'ell as in the running back. And Dylan outpushed Sav'ell today.
Wow.
Yeah, he's put on that kind of muscle.
He heard the can't run between the tackles too small.
Yeah, he heard that shit.
He said, I'm going to change that narrative.
Yeah, his height is his height, but he's turned into that fire hydrant stump thing.
Jay-Z CZ says, what are your opinions about the Air Force Soup LTG Clark becoming the new CFP commissioner?
I have no opinions.
Yeah,
the new executive director. He's not the commissioner, but
I'm like
first I've heard of it.
I'm like you on the fashion show. I have what?
I didn't even know they made this move, so we'll have to dig into that. Thank you for the super chat, though. Mr. Hillsman says, Unc, you need to add him on COD. Mr. Hillsman, no numbers, just Mr. Hillsman.
I will add you. If I remember mine, it's something like the BSTGK, I think. But yeah, I will look for you, Hillsman, and you will die. Just putting it out there.
I have a special set of skills.
Yes, I do. I carry a sniper rifle and a sidearm. That's like, and I get up in the roof somewhere and I scope in, man.
We had that clip come out recently where we were talking about Evan Williams.
Yeah.
And that's like my biggest memory of Call of Duty. Me and my sophomore year of college roommate during winter break drinking Evan Williams straight and playing Call of Duty and just getting like so drunkenly angry at the game.
That's like the first liquor that I drank too back in the day, early days of college.
Yeah,
Because
it's
you
the first
guys,
one you can afford. It's,
Well-
it's the first step up. You know what I mean?
Right,
Like you
right.
go from Heaven Hill. You know?
because you guys like these stories, I'll tell this one quickly.
No, we love these stories.
I think the first CU-CSU basketball game I went to in Fort Collins. I was getting a ride from a couple guys who were friends with someone on the team, and I got into the car. We're driving up to Fort Collins, and I had filled a vitamin water bottle with Evan Williams Black. And I get in the car, and there's 4 other people, and they were like in like a big SUV, and I was like, "You guys want any of this?" And they're like, "Nah, bro, we don't drink that shit." And I was like, "All right, suit yourselves." So there's a lot of traffic. It ends up being like an hour and a half drive, and I'm just kind of every few minutes take a sip. Every few minutes take a sip. We get to Fort Collins, and we're about to get out of the car, and I look down,
It's gone.
and it is gone.
Oh, you Mr. Krabs.
Like there's maybe this much left. And it's, one of those where there's just like a moment where something happens, you realize how drunk you are. A lot of times it's you look in the mirror.
Yeah.
You're like, oh shit, I'm lit.
Yeah.
I looked down at that bottle and I was like, I'm in trouble. I ended up, I don't even know, wilding out, of course. But the one thing I remember is I was so drunk, I couldn't follow the game. It wasn't fun
moved
at
too
all.
fast,
Dude.
yeah.
The game was moving too fast. My eyes weren't following the ball. It was rough.
Yeah.
I think I got in a fight after the game. Or tried to.
That's the only way to live. Like you get that drunk, you got to fight. That was the
I
only
would
thing
have been in
missing.
trouble.
What was
I would have
that?
been in trouble if I got in a fight. because
Arizona when Jake had me on the bucket of vodka. Like it was just missing was starting to fight. If only those guys from the spring game had been in Arizona talking shit after the bucket of vodka, it'd have been on.
There we go.
What a night.
What does that say? Oh, RK was hammered. Full Mr. Krabs. Yeah, that's from Allie.
Now
She
this
has good sources.
This doesn't top the LA story, which one day will be in a movie, but that was a good one.
Thanks. Yeah, that's nowhere near the LA story. That has twists and turns and Quentin Tarantino finish.
Mr. Hillsman says, let's go. I had to ask the pretty girl at the dance.
There you go.
Yeah.
You're the pretty girl at the dance, Neely.
Then
Go ahead, Alyssa.
Hillsman exits game. Let's just be teammates, Hillsman. How about that? Let's just work together.
CJ asked our thoughts on Matt McChesney with Nebraska and Matt Rule. This is what he does, guys.
Yeah. Look, the dude is running a business.
Yes.
You have to give him a break on that one. Matt is someone I've been friends with a long time. That there have been some things this offseason that I haven't loved. That is not one of them.
Yeah.
It's obviously, as college football fans, we love to hate, right? I hate Nebraska. Matt hates Nebraska. But
I don't know how you could question that.
yes, you do have to be able to sometimes put aside sports for a second
Absolutely.
to deal with real life things.
Yes.
And guess what? Today, Jordan Ochoa, who is a Colorado kid who works with Matt, commits to Nebraska. He came to Colorado. He visited. I don't think they ended up offering him. And Matt did his job. He helped that kid get an opportunity at the next level. So yes, I get I know we want to be mad about those things, but I do, especially from my standpoint, where it's like I don't like Joel Embiid, but we have a Sixers podcast in Philadelphia that I helped set up.
It's business.
It's putting it's putting your own sports biases aside for real life things that help him put food on the table for his family.
Kind of like I did in pulling for Michigan just because I'm friends with Jake. But it wasn't reciprocated.
Yes. Now, like I said, that is not. I don't agree with everything Matt says or does, but this one doesn't bother me.
Don Peasy. I've been following Unc since JSU and DNVR since Prime was hired. The three of y'all together are the best CFB podcast on YouTube. Keep it up, goats. Appreciate you.
You
Don
know,
Peasy.
I not
Thank
only
you,
have
bro.
to thank you for that and thank you for helping achieve that silver plaque there, but you're exactly right. It has been
Yes,
an
sir.
absolute pleasure the past 12 years working and walking along with these guys and telling this story and having a great time while doing so. And glad to hear that it translates to the audience out there, because I don't know about y'all, but we have a damn good time every time.
Yes, sir.
Yep. Amen.
And what a show today was.
Yes. And King Mar says you're beating around the bush. Look, if I have an issue with something with Matt, I have his number. I can talk to him. I don't have to do it through
This is the same shit
YouTube.
we were talking about on Monday, bro.
I know, but yeah, exactly. It's like the thing with PHNX. It's like not everything has to be online because we're all going after each other's throats for entertainment. Sometimes things can be handled man to man.
Way to say that.
But putting all the drama aside, it was great to have you. Dude, if we could have you every single day,
I know. It'd be lit.
It's kind of comfortable up here. I could just stay here. There's a shower. Not like I shower every day.
There is a third floor. There's a shower.
Oh, we good then.
Few people know that.
I got snacks from Circle K. I got Olipop.
Got the bar
We
downstairs.
got the bar with the killer. What's the chicken sandwich I like?
The Ralphie.
The Ralphie. How did I forget that name? I could absolutely live here. Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
There's some room in the basement.
Welcome home.
No, I would just sleep here during other shows.
Cancel your flight.
What flight? It's already canceled.
Let's go.
We'll have you back soon.
Absolutely. We're getting into it, man.
We are.
Here it comes.
I mean, signing day's about 2-3 weeks away.
Mm-hmm.
I think we'll probably have a press conference around then, so we'll be up there then.
And I'll, of course, be here during that time.
Yes, sir.
Leading up to that. And not just here as in Boulder, but here.
Yeah.
Here.
Yep.
Here.
How long are you in Boulder till?
This is going to be a short trip, but when I come back, I'm back for about 3 weeks, man. 2.5, 3 weeks. And then after that trip, when I come back, like that March, April window, it's almost like, August. You're just here every day.
Yeah.
It's really football time,
Yep.
man.
Cool. Well, we'll have you back soon. We'll
I hope
have
so.
another special guest here tomorrow.
Yes.
Stay tuned and see.
All right.
Let's go Buffs.
Let's go Buffs.
You.